clock, and they only turned it on in the finals, and they didn't tell any of us that that was on, and I didn't notice it. So I had to get back and look up at the clock, because I knew it was near the end of the period, and I wasn't watching the wrestling as much as I should have been, because I'm trying to see the clock. And
okay, we're going to go to 138. Fritz Holt from North Andover.
Hoehn. Yep.
Hoehn. And James Smith from Natick.
This ought to be a good match.
Yes. Fritz Hoehn is #1 ranked. James Smith #3.
Good shot. Almost got to take them.
Almost.
The thing about that thing at Salem was that the kid running the clock shut it off because the referee that was the head official blew a whistle very quietly, and he heard it because he was facing him, and I didn't hear it because there was so much screaming, and I'm counting down, and he had shut the clock off. So we had a whole mess of problems with that.
I remember that one.
Yeah, they're really going at it with each other. Both are both offensive.
Yes.
Two good athletes.
Nobody's holding back right now. And again, you're at 132. That was Mike Stewart of Drake with the win. Your state champion. Very good.
Now, what you say with these two guys is most wrestlers, what coaches would say, these guys have got good hips. Because your hips, your center of gravity in any sport, no matter what it is, has a lot to do with the center of gravity of your body. And the guys
goes down on a single.
Have good hips.
Low single. Let's see what he can do with it. James is countering.
He's trying to get his hips behind the other wrestler's hips, and the other wrestler's trying to step over his. And that's the battle that's going on right now.
Yeah, we've said
Smith grabs the forearm. He's trying to tilt him.
He's got him.
Smith got him in a tilt. Got him in a tilt.
He's got his hips controlling his opponent's hips. And you got a 2 and 3.
That's going to make it 5-0.
Wow, big 5-point move there.
James Smith is tough.
Big scramble there. They're coming out of that on top. That's a,
We'll tilt him again. Hoehn using the wrist to right himself there.
James got that that wrist in the arm there, and he's using it.
You know, you see a lot of people doing that, and the team that does
another 2.
The team that does it the most is Natick.
Yes, very good at that.
Natick has been doing that for years, and they get it, and they get it.
7-0 at the end of the first period.
And you can see that's one of those that I'm seeing a lot of other teams do now. Natick has been doing it for a while. I'm seeing a lot of other kids starting to do it. I mean, it seems dangerous. You go right across your own back. And I actually called a defensive foul this year. A kid was trying to tilt somebody like that and pinned himself. But the Natick kids are really good at it. And it's a real easy way to score a lot of points.
That's it. And in championship matches, it's really points. It's really not pins.
And actually, the NCAAs last year with Anthony Robles, the guy from Arizona that only had one leg, he got a takedown and a turn for 4 points, and that was the end of the match.
Yep.
I mean, after that move, they were really even the whole rest of the match. And the kid he was wrestling was the NCAA champ the year before. But because he got that one move, that was the ball game. Because at that level, like these kids, you know, you can't give up 4 points like that and come back easily. So
Hoehn's tying up this guy's arms pretty well.
What do we got here?
Getting down to the end of the period.
Got somebody's bleeding.
Oh, we got blood.
Minute 23 left in the second period.
I think it's North Andover here is bleeding. So.
Smith has gone out here, and he's got a. He's got the quick lead, but Hoehn seems to be fighting back nicely.
Oh, they're going at it. It's a tough match.
I think it's closer than what the score really says.
Well, you know that the thing about that tilt is you hit it, get a couple of points, and you reset it, and you do it again.
Exactly.
You know, in the old days, they used to say if you had that tilt, you had to let it go. And now that's not true anymore. All you have to do is when he bellies down, it's his job on the bottom to get the hand off and to fight out of it. And if he doesn't, you take him over again. So Natick is doing it more and more because the rules kind of changed on that probably 4 or 5 years ago, and now you just tilt them and tilt them and tilt them.
Yep.
I know they're teaching that at all the camps, just for that reason.
Yep. I remember seeing the guy from Rhode Island that had a move named after him. He would go through and get the ball and chain. He'd throw a leg right in. No, this is Rhode Island.
Okay.
Rhode Island, University of Rhode Island, when they had wrestling.
Yep.
I can't remember what they called it. It was named after him. He would go through and get the ball and chain, and he would hook your elbow, and he'd just pull you over and stay there forever. And, tilt you and bring you back. Then he'd tilt you and bring you back. Tilt you and bring you back. And
good way to get points.
And they changed that. They said, no, now you got to change the move. You got to take that off because.
So you see James Smith in the middle of the match, waiting for.
I've always wondered how this
Fritz
affects this stoppage here, how it affects the wrestlers.
Some probably deal with it well. I mean, the kid who's bleeding probably would rather be wrestling. By the way, the only move that they don't, belly down, that kind of thing, is the cradle. If you have the cradle in, as long as you have it in. Oh, here's a nice Peterson.
Smith defensively there.
Nice
Peterson.
This is a Peterson roll he just did. And if he can,
he's got
control. And
he's got it there. Got it.
9-0. 1 minute left in the second period.
Didn't get any back
points. No back points.
But he went right into a tilt.
Right into a tilt. Look at that. 2 points on a tilt.
11-0.
So he's just ringing up the points with tilts.
And we're only halfway through the match.
Yeah, that's right.
So
50 seconds left in the second period.
We could be looking at a tech fall here.
Technical fall, whenever a wrestler gets ahead by more than 14 points, the match is stopped.
Now, I don't know the North Andover kid's first name, but
Fritz.
Fritz.
Yep.
His father, Vaughn, sitting in front of us.
He was a wrestler, state champ, correct?
He was a New England champ.
New England champ.
And he had the best headlock I've ever seen. And I was sitting at Coventry High School next to the Coventry coach, and I said, this kid coming up here, he was a 171-pounder. He says, he's going to headlock this guy and pack him in like no time.
Yep. I remember that. He's my age.
He pinned the kid right away. I was like, and he looked at me. He said, "How did you know that?" I said, "This kid has a headlock from hell. I'm telling you." Yeah. And Vaughn was a great high school wrestler.
Into the second period, 11-0.
Again from North Andover.
James Smith.
Yeah.
That you? So Vaughn's still here working. He loves wrestling.
Yep. Well, it's addictive.
And his son's in the
it's
final
a great sport, and you get addicted to it. It's just great stuff.
Now, what year is Fritz? Do you have the info on that?
Fritz is a
sophomore.
He's a freshman.
He's a freshman.
We're going to see a lot of Fritz. I talked to Vaughn earlier today because I was the only mass wrestler, because when you go to New England's, each state gets one except for the home state. They get 4 referees. So I was the only mass guy there. And I said to him, I saw him. I said, your son's in the finals, right? He needed a takedown. Oh, nice turn. He turned out of that. Nice move by the Natick.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, yeah, he knows the headlock. So right now, Fritz needs the headlock. He needs to throw one.
Yes. Minute 17 seconds left, 11-0 for James Smith.
Well, I'll tell you, a freshman going against a senior here, he's held his own. I know he's behind by a lot, but
plus
he's done very good.
We're going to see a bit of him for the next 3 years.
Oh, yeah. And they probably didn't wrestle Natick, so he hasn't seen the tilt. They're not seeing that tilt. And Vaughn and Carl probably haven't had a lot of time to work on that. This afternoon, this guy's going to tilt you on how to. Easy to say not to get into it, but suddenly you realize he's got a cross wrist on you and you're going over to your back, and it's a little late then to tell him. So.
He's shooting in there, getting a single leg, tying him up. Switches to a double there nicely and gets a takedown.
13-0.
It's been a great testament. Carl took over at the end of the season last year.
That's right.
And we see how well North Andover has wrestled this year. And like I said earlier, how many people they have in the state tournament.
It's credit. It really is.
I mean, they were always good teams. They just didn't have that
And I believe they beat, in the team tournament, they beat North Andover last year. I mean, North Andover beat Natick last
Yes,
year.
they did.
They did.
They
Yep.
did.
They did.
Right after all the hubble.
And 2 years ago, I did the match. There was the North final between Winchester and North Andover, and North Andover won in the last match
I sense the end of a match.
with
13-0. Your state champion from Natick, James Smith, at 138 pounds. Strong wrestling.
North Andover won, beat Winchester 31-30.